What's up, guys? Justin here with the CGEssentials.com. So as a lot of you know, the Black Friday Cyber Monday sale is going on in the Blender market right now. And as usual, I am struggling to keep up with all of the different changes and add-ons that have new things in. So I wanted to talk about either new add-ons or add-ons that have had updates or changes lately, just to kind of try to stay on top of that. I can make more detailed videos about some of these in the future if you guys are interested. But let's go ahead and just jump into it. All right, so you can check all of these out by going to the cgessentials.com/Black Friday. And note that most of the add-ons as well as the resources inside of the Blender market are currently on sale for 25% off. And so first off, we have a new cinematic lighting course from Creative Shrimp. And so this course is going to specifically be designed to help you work with cinematic style lighting. So this is being taught by Gleb Alexandrov, who a lot of you probably know. He has a much larger Blender channel than I do, and he does really amazing work with Blender art. So now he has a 6-hour course on doing better lighting for Blender. So if you've been looking to take your lighting to the next level, this was published 5 days ago and over 1,100 people have already bought it. So it is obviously very popular. All right, so if you scroll down just a little bit, the guys from Polyfjord have just released a mechanical creature kit. The guys from Polyfjord have a massive Blender YouTube channel. They had one video that blew up in a way that I've never seen before, that went up to 27 million views. It was just how to create robotic arms in Blender. So they are masters of creating like robot motion and other things like that. They've got other things in here too, but they have really great resources. Well, now they've released this kit. And so there's a free version that can get you started that's got some mechanical parts in here. And then it's also got the more full kit. So this full kit is going to have 250 parts. It's got multiple different animated rigs and other things like that. So if you've been looking into creating any kind of like robotics or anything like that, this is a great resource for that. So it's got the different rigs in here. Then it's also got the parts and pieces that you can use to build out a much more realistic rendered moving robot type thing. All right, so another course that just got released that is also very popular is from the guys over at True VFX. So you might know the guys over at True VFX from their tools like True Sky and True Terrain. True Sky is a sky tool for creating lighting, clouds, and fog specifically for cycles, which I can link to in the notes down below as well. Well, they've also just released this new course on post-processing. And so the post-processing is basically where you take your render and then you want to add the extra little parts and pieces to make it look even better, right? The atmospheric feeling or the cinematic look. So this is specifically designed to teach you how to do the Photoshop piece or the Photo P piece or whatever you're using, the part where you can take your renders to the next level. Note that you don't need Photoshop. You can use like Photo P or Affinity Photo as well if you're looking to learn how to do post-processing. So this is a really popular course that just rolled out, I want to say 5 days ago as well, about post-processing. All right, so Urbaniac is a building generator add-on that's specifically designed to help you build buildings inside of Blender. So it's a building generator built on top of geometry nodes. So this one is currently in early access. So it's already 50% off of what it was going to be while they work through just finalizing the add-on, other things like that. So if you're looking for something that can generate buildings, this is one that I'm keeping my eye on right now to see where it goes. But that one is currently, they've already got their early access price, and then it's reduced even more in the Black Friday sale. Sanctus Library, we talk about this one a lot because Sanctus does such a great job of continually updating this with new tools and new assets. So Sanctus Library is basically a library of procedure materials and assets, but he's also started adding geometry nodes assets as well. So in this last release, he's released new procedural wood materials as well as clay materials and painted metal. So he's got a bunch of new materials that he's added in here. You can see all of those by going to the Blender market page, but then he's also adding new tools in here for geometry nodes as well. So now he's got barbed wire and twisted cables, as well as the wireframe and turntable. So that's on top of the other changes that he had made before. So he'd added like array tools, as well as procedural assets like chains, as well as a sofa. He had an interesting cupcake that was in there as well. You can check out all of those in his changelog right here. If you already have Sanctus Library, you get to download those for free. If you don't, he is continually updating this, and the rate at which he does this this kind of blows my mind. So procedural materials being added all the time, and now geometry nodes, assets, and tools are being added as well. And so the guys over at Physical Add-Ons, who you might know from the Physical Starlight and Atmosphere add-on, this is an excellent add-on for creating different atmospheres and other things like that directly inside of Blender. So it's got a ton of different presets, and what makes this one unique is it works both in Eevee and cycles. So this one does a really fantastic job of helping you set up your environments. I find it very easy to use, and I really like this tool. But they've released this new tool, which is their Celestial Objects tool. And basically what this is a tool for creating physically accurate planets. So if you do like space simulations or anything like that, this tool is built to help you do that. So if you do any kind of like space modeling or anything like that, you can definitely check that out. Note that this one is also marked as 50% off of the overall price. And then you've got your Blender market price on top of that. This is considered an early or an alpha version. So note that they're still fixing things like their rings and other things like that, but you are going to be able to get those additional changes in new versions if you purchase it now. So if this is something that fits your workflow, this could be a good time to jump in on this. So I wanted to highlight Scatter as well. So we've talked about this tool a bunch of times on the channel before. It is a ridiculously good scattering add-on. It has so many features that I struggle to even figure out where to start with tutorials for it. Like, it is probably the most feature-packed of the add-ons that I've seen. So they do a really good job of documenting them as well. So I've always said I'm really impressed with their documentation. So they actually show you how their tools work in addition to telling you what the tools are, which is really great. The reason I'm highlighting them now is, first off, they've changed their name. So they've gone from Scatter to GeoScatter, which I think kind of makes sense because they've kind of moved over into geometry nodes. And so they wanted to incorporate that in their name. But the other thing I'm seeing from them that could really make them kind of more of a professional tool is they're partnering with more and more different providers for assets. Right. So basically what they have is they have biome packs that you can like bring into Blender, and you can actually plug in to GeoScatter. And now there's a bunch of different providers that have models that can plug into this, right? They've got their own like scatter packs that can plug in. And there's some really big names on this list that are currently doing sales as well. So like Max Tree, for example. So Max Tree has a lot of highly detailed models. So I think they're pretty well respected in the 3D industry. And they now have packs that actually work for GeoScatter. So you've got other providers in here as well. So Evermotion has a ton of different packs that are now available for you as well. And so the integration with these providers, right, like B Production, who have like tree and vegetation, which we'll talk about in a minute. And so these scatter packs interface with Scatter, making scattering their assets really easy. And so they're starting to work with more than just vegetation as well. So like, for example, they've partnered with these guys who provide a trash asset kit. So asset kit now has scatter packs as well. So you can actually use this to scatter trash and garbage in your scene as well. So we're now moving beyond scatter just being a vegetation tool into something a lot more interesting. So just wanted to highlight that because I could see this really, kind of elevating Blender forward as a tool where you can use like industry standard and high quality assets to create really realistic renderings. So we mentioned tree and vegetation just for a second there. I did want to note that they have now updated their version so that it's now asset browser ready, meaning that you can access all of the different plants that you get inside of this add-on, specifically inside of the asset browser. They also have some additional biomes ready for GeoScatter that you can use as well. So desert, deciduous, coniferous, tropical, that kind of thing. And they've got a really big library of plants and trees and other things like that that you can use inside of Blender. So that being asset browser ready is something that I think makes it a lot easier to use. And I'm really excited to see that addition inside of that particular add-on. So next up, we've got an add-on that I've talked about a bunch, Fluent Materializer, which is a really great tool for combining different effects. So like if you want to create like a scraped off paint look or damage or other things like that, it's got a tool set for that. They've just released a new feature. Literally, they rolled out the YouTube video like less than 12 hours ago, I think. And basically what it is they've got this new feature that gives you the ability to actually work with procedural decals like this. I haven't even had a chance to test it yet. That's how new it is, but I'm super excited to give it a try. You'll probably see a separate tutorial on this one coming out pretty soon because I really love this add-on anyway. But in addition to having the ability to do your procedural decals and other things like that, and note that you can use this for like normal decals as well. So notice how he's using those decals to actually use normals to create non-smooth areas on the sphere, other things like that. This one does come with all those different tools to be able to allow you to add the edge damage and the face damage and kind of like stack effects and other things like that. So we've talked about this one before. I can link to some tutorials, but I'm a massive fan of this particular add-on anyway. So this is a super, super exciting update for me that I'm going to be giving a try very soon. All right, and then another brand new add-on that was just released by Antoine Bagatini. You probably know him from the free BagaPi modifier or the BagaPi assets, which are both amazing tools, by the way. You can check those out at the link in the notes down below as well. But his new Ivy Generator is a tool specifically designed to make creation of Ivy really easy. And so it comes with a number of different Ivies in here, and it's really easy to use. You literally just draw on top of something and it generates Ivy. And so basically the way this works is you just pick an Ivy, right? Whatever you want. Then you pick your mesh. I find having a 3D cursor on the object is helpful. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be required or not, but it seems to give me a better result. But if I take this and I draw along the surface like this, notice how this is actually going to generate that Ivy in here. And the difference between this and the Ivy generator that's already built into BagaPi is this has like a massive library of different Ivies that do different things. And these are also adjustable, right? So if I take this object, for example, let's say I wanted to put this, this particular Ivy on here right here. So if I draw on this surface like this, it's going to place this Ivy in here. Note that it's like super detailed. It looks really good. The plants are really detailed, but then you can also adjust this, right? So you can adjust like the length and width of the plants, other things like that. So if you wanted the Ivy to be more in a line, you could adjust this. You can adjust the branch length. And then there's a ton of other things you can adjust in here as well, like the density of the leaves and other things in order to really customize the Ivy that's on your object. So super excited to do more with this. Like I said, this one is brand new. Excited to do more with it in the future. All right, so that's it for now. Let me know if there's anything specific you'd like me to talk about. Remember that you can check this out at the cgessentials.com/Black Friday. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.